My name is Toby Awuyemi. I'm the Academic Director at Good Success Academy. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you the role of technology with regard to education. And we're using the opportunity of International Women's Day today. But just to let you know, if you're watching this video, especially on our YouTube channel, it's not specific to women at all, but it's my gift today. So just stay with us, okay? So education and technology, what's the role of online learning? I'm going to be introducing some opportunities that online learning has made possible for each and every one of us in the area of education, because of course it's learning, especially higher education. So one area that has been getting, of course, a lot of airtime recently, as you may know, is qualified teacher status. So achieving qualified teacher status in the UK. And the most popular routes, if you haven't seen any of my videos about qualified teacher status, please go on my YouTube channel. It's Good Success Academy and check it out. So the most popular route is the new route, which opened on February 1st, which is the online application route, of which there are some requirements. Again, if you're not sure what these are, please go on my YouTube channel and you will see previous videos where I've explained all of the requirements, especially the updated requirements, which were released in January, specifically, I believe, January 25th of 2023. So that video would be in February 2023, would have been recorded and uploaded then. So the first one is this new application method. It's free, it's online. That's the first one. It's got quite a number of requirements. For example, you have to be teaching in secondary school, at least have 1 year academic experience in the secondary school in Nigeria, for those who are in Nigeria, or Ghana, or Zimbabwe. So quite a number of countries. Again, it's all in that video. And then secondly, you have to have been teaching some specific subjects. Those subjects include mathematics, science, and foreign languages, excluding English language. So those are some of the requirements. You should also have a level 6 qualification in the area of education. Level 6 is a bachelor's degree. So you can either have a bachelor's degree or a postgraduate or master's degree, which is a level 7 in the area of education. If you're unsure, please watch the video. You can also send me an email. I'll be sharing my connecting, where you can connect with me, my connecting point at the end of today's session. There's also what we call applying for the assessment only routes. So applying for the assessment only route. And this is usually beneficial to people who have been teaching for quite a while. They have the qualifications, they have the experience, they just don't have that QTS status awarded to them yet. So you can actually apply to the organizations that offer that here in England, in the UK. They assess you, and then they decide at the end of a 12-week period, so about 3 months, if you actually can get qualified teacher status. I have to say it's quite a rigorous method, and the fees are usually in the area of £2,000 to £4,000 from my research. Another very, very, very good option is to apply for what we call the International Qualified Teacher Status, which the government introduced last year, 2022. And the first set of students, the first cohort, was in September 2022. They started with about, I think, 6 universities, but the number of universities have now grown to about 14 or so that offer this. So with the International QTS, it's a 9-month program from about September to June of the next year. It's 9 months. You get what we call the International Qualified Teacher Status. And then once you get into the UK, it becomes qualified teacher status. You might have to do an induction program, but basically you already have a qualified teacher status, but you have to do a qualified teacher status, an induction program in the area of teaching. So again, this is online. We're talking about I want to talk about the power of technology, specifically online learning today. Now, just to go back a little bit, the assessment only route, it can be done online as well. You don't have to be in the UK. for that 12-week period for you to get your qualified teacher status. The same thing as the international qualified teacher status. This is done online for a 9-month period as well. The fees are a bit higher. They're in the area of £9,000. But as soon as you finish, you now have international qualified teacher status, which is equivalent to qualified teacher status when you come into the UK. So that was option 3. Again, I'm talking specifically about getting qualified teacher status. Just so that we are clear, qualified teacher status is needed to teach in most primary and secondary schools here in the UK. There is a different kind of qualified teacher status for those who teach in early years, but specifically for primary and secondary. Other areas, other stages of education in the UK include further education, which is a 16+, and higher education, which you do not need qualified teacher status for. They have their own qualifications and requirements separately. Okay, so option 4 is actually training into going for teacher training, and it's basically a degree or a postgraduate degree. So you could have a bachelor's in education that is considered teacher training here in the UK. So basically, if you're overseas, you would apply for a student visa to do the 3-year bachelor's in education program. Or if you already have a first degree, it doesn't have to be in education. It could be in any area whatsoever. And then, well, specific areas that you'd be able to teach in. So you need to think about that. So subjects that you'd be able to teach. And then you would do what we call a PGCE, which is a postgraduate certificate in education. Postgraduate certificate in education, it takes about 9 months from September to July. If you wanted to teach in primary, you would do the PGCE primary. If you wanted to teach in secondary, you would do the PGCE secondary, and you would actually specialize in your area of interest, for example, geography, law, business. You know, that's the way most universities run this. So the PGCE is a 9-month program. It's 1 academic year. The bachelor's degree is a 3-year program. And of course, it would be based on international fees. The PGCE is about £13,250 from my research for international students. The bachelor's degree obviously varies from university to university, but it's a 3-year program, obviously with yearly fees. Now, there is a 5th option, so to speak, but it's not exactly a route. And that's why I've had +1 bonus route in the header there in my slides. And that's because there's a 4-year rule that could exempt you from having to have QTS in order to teach in England. So basically, you can teach in England without QTS based on the 4-year rule. Usually, the way to be able to make use of this route, if you apply for a job from outside of the UK, a teaching job, and you're able to get the job without having qualified teacher status, so you come into the UK and you don't have QTS, you are actually allowed to work as a teacher for 4 years. So before the 4 years finishes, you're expected to gain your qualified teacher status. So that's just one bonus route. Not always very common, but it's one possibility again. So that is really the overview, so to speak, for qualified teacher status, which allows you to work in the UK as a primary or secondary school teacher. I'm going to go ahead and also talk about the opportunities for masters. Again, remember, my focus today is online higher education. So I'm going to be talking about a couple of masters as well that you can do in education. But before I do that, I'm just going to check on our group on Facebook because we are having a live session. So just bear with me. Thank you so much, guys. Okay, let's see how we're doing. Okay. All right. Okay, thank you so much for that. So the next thing I want to talk about is the opportunity to do your master's online in the area of education. I want to say first that when you get a qualified teacher status in England, it's really for teaching. The PGCE as well is for teaching. A bachelor's in education is seen as teacher training as well. When you do a master's, usually it's for people who want to get into management in the area of education. So just to put that, just to make that clear here. So the first one I want to talk about is a master's in education and pedagogy. Pedagogy is a key word in the area of education, okay? And I know that if you're already in the area of education, you probably know this word already. We all pronounce it differently. So for this particular master's, it's with a university in the UK. If you are interested, just reach out to me after watching this video. You can email me, you can send me a WhatsApp message, you can put a comment here on the live session, either on Facebook or even on YouTube, where this video will be uploaded as well, and I will connect you with the university. The reason why it's not been mentioned here is that we work through basically the recommendations. So some of the modules that you would be covering are pedagogy, culture and diversity, and the applied project. And then the duration for this particular master's is 18 months. So it's not too long at all for a master's degree program. The start dates for this particular master's degree program are April and September. So basically we are currently in March 2023 as I do this live session with you. So you've got the opportunity for April and September. So applications are not closed yet. I believe for the April session, applications close about 4th of April or so. So we've still about 3 weeks there. Now the fees for this particular master's in education and pedagogy are about £4,000 plus VAT, that's the value added tax, which you need to pay for this particular course in the UK. Not all courses ask for this, but for this particular course, it's 4,000 plus VAT. The good news is that you can pay instrumentally. So that is very, very welcome. But what are the requirements? What do you need to be able to get on this master's in education and pedagogy? Because just to make that clear, it is an online master's. So you get your master's degree fully done online, the power of technology. Yeah. So the requirements, you must be in a teaching role wherever in the world that you are, and your school needs to be notified that you're on the master's program, because you would have to do some research and some work that has to do with your school. So they need to be basically on your side and be doing this along with you. They're not going to have to do your work with you, but you would need to do some research about the school. You also need to have 60 credits at level 7. So level 7 is any program that is a postgraduate program. A bachelor's degree is a level 6. So when you do any form of postgraduate certificate in education, postgraduate diploma in education, master's, so those are all level 7. So you would need for this particular master's that I'm talking about to have completed a PGCE, a PGD, or another master, so level 7, or even an international PGCE, because some people have done that online. Again, you would also need to have access to a personal computer or laptop with internet connection, of course, to be able to do your work. And lastly, if your first language is not English, or you haven't got an English qualification, you might need to show your IELTS score. That's the English proficiency score of 6.5. And that's it. With that, you can apply for this master's in education and pedagogy. It's online, okay? All right, I want to talk about one more master's opportunity here. But before I do that, I'm just going to find out how we're doing online, so just bear with me. Okay. All right, okay. So the other master's I want to talk to you about is a master's in education professional practice, and there are various pathways that you can choose. Again, this is online, and this is with another university here in England, United Kingdom. Some of the pathways that you can choose to specialize in include teaching and learning as your pathway, early years, inclusionary practice, education leadership, and higher education. So you choose one of these pathways, anyone of your own choice. Yeah. And again, the modules, some of the modules that you might be covering: methodology and methods, practitioner inquiry, case study, negotiated learning, planning inquiry, research methods and ethics, and then practitioner research. I share this because I get these questions a lot as to what are the modules that I will be doing? And I find this very exciting, very interesting that you as a student want to know what you'll be covering before you get on board. So that, that shows your great interest in what you're going to be doing. Okay. Now, just as I covered with the previous masters, the duration of this particular masters is a bit longer. The earlier one was 18 months. This one is 3 years, but you could actually choose to complete it in less time. So it's set at 3 years, but you could choose to take more modules, do more work, and complete it in less time if you don't want to do it over 3 years, if you feel 3 years is too long for you. The start dates for this particular masters are February, June, and October. So of course we are in March, so we've passed the February start date now, but there is still the June 2023 entry, and there's the October 2023 entry. Again, what are the requirements for this particular masters? It's very simple. You just need to have a first or second class honors degree. So basically have a bachelor's degree with a first class or a second class. That's the minimum requirement for you to get on this course. The fees for this course are a bit higher. In comparison with the first one I shared with you, the 13,250, an instrumental plan is available for you to pay for this particular masters. And so these are the main things I wanted to share with you today. I just wanted to share with you the power of online learning with regards to education and what you can do. So for example, if you're already working, if you're taking care of children, if you can't really afford to come to the UK at this time, or you just have to be in Nigeria or another part of the world at this time, make use of online learning, make use of the power of technology to be able to achieve your goals, your aspirations, either as somebody who wants to educate other people, which is where the qualified teacher status comes in, or as a student yourself. So maybe you want to gain a master's. So I'm just going to give a summary of a few things before I tell you how to connect with me and then finish up the live session. So I just wanted to remind you of some ways that you can make use of technology, because that's my focus today. Remember, the assessment only route can be done online. The international qualified teacher status can be done online. The free application route, which is currently just open on February 1st, can be done online as well. The teacher training for PGCE or Bachelor's in Education has to be done physically in England, United Kingdom, and also the iQTS exemption has to be done physically in the UK. So basically option 4 and option 5, you need to be in the UK. Option 1, 2, and 3 can be done online to gain qualified teacher status to be able to teach primary or secondary in England. And then, as I mentioned earlier, the Masters in Education and Pedagogy, which is 18 months, and also the Masters in Education professional practice with various pathways for you to choose. It takes 3 years, but you can choose to do it in less time by doing more modules in a shorter period. Now, I know that I've shared a lot with you today, and you might be thinking, Toby, I have quite a number of questions. How do I connect with one of the universities you've mentioned, or even both of them? How do I know which qualified teacher status route is best for me? Well, voila, the answers are on your screen. So you can send us a WhatsApp message. You can see the number there, just for the purposes of someone who might not, maybe they're just listening to this. It's +44 79888 9114. Okay, I'm going to say that again. +44 79888 9114. So that's our WhatsApp number. You can also email us teaching@goodsuccessacademy.com. That's teaching@goodsuccessacademy.com. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. We're at goodsuccessacademy.com. So be sure to connect if you have any questions at all. Before I wrap up the live, I'm just going to check if we have any questions that I would be answering here before we shut off the live, before we round up. So just bear with me 1 second. Okay. All right. So that's it for this evening. Please, if you do have any questions, be sure to connect with us. Take care and God bless.